We've all been in situations, both personally and professionally, where we want to initiate some sort of change. We want to get people to do something that they're not doing or stop doing something that they are doing. This is ultimately sort of the job of being a leader. And I've noticed that the easiest and most effective way to initiate change is to do two things. The first is to ask story questions versus data questions. And let me explain what that means. So sometimes, let's say we aren't performing, we aren't hitting our financial goals, and we're having a meeting with our salespeople. So maybe the old school temptation is to come in and sort of ream people out, to threaten them, or maybe offer rewards, and give them the data, throw down a spreadsheet and say, look, we're not hitting our numbers. I don't think that the only emotion that creates generally is either fear or a desire to sort of prove that you've done a good thing. What I would do is ask story questions. So say you're in a salesperson meeting, instead of asking, why didn't you hit your numbers? You could ask, tell me the story of the last person that you tried to sell and they said no. Or you could ask, when was the last sale you had that you knew that it just worked and you nailed it? Tell me that story. And start to think of it more as a story investigator. You want to figure out what are the stories that these guys and gals have been living with, and then you can create an answer for them. And the second way to use story in this sort of situation when you're wanting to initiate change, and this works whether you're the boss or whether you're telling a story to the boss, is to tell your story of a preferred future that everyone would benefit from. This is basically vision casting, but the only way to cast a vision of a preferred future, really to create emotion, is to envision it and then talk about what it will be like. Tell that story, that future story, about what it will be like for all of us when we get to that point. And that's the easiest way to motivate people to get them where you want to go, whether you are the boss trying to motivate your employees, or whether it's just time for a raise or an extra week's vacation, and you tell your boss that story of why it will be better for you and the company in the future if you get a little more rest. So it's all storytelling all the time. That's what creates emotion and empathy and ultimately change.